The notion of witches comes from Europe. It was imported a little bit in New France, but in New France, people were scared of the devil. We did not have any witch hunt like in Salem or like in Europe. Many of the history that we recall in this section are based on rumors. There were about 20 trials.
The very first witchcraft trial in the records is actually from Montreal, and it's from 1658. A newlywed couple who can't consummate their marriage, and they're blaming another settler in Ville-Marie by the name of René Bénard. The young couple say that René Bénard bewitched Pierre Gadois, who was the bridegroom, because he was jealous and he wanted the bride for himself. But it was one of the first cases that involved the Bishop Laval. He annulled the marriage. René Bénard was banished to Trois-Rivières. So he resettled there, he married, he had lots of kids. The two people who were involved in the marriage, they also remarried, they also had lots of kids with other people. Nobody dies from being accused of witchcraft in New France. Nobody is executed. And no one actually is executed for being a witch. The other main difference is none of those trials are concentrated all together at once. They're over a span of about 60 years or so. The only person who comes close to, dying because of a witchcraft trial is a soldier in Trois-Rivières in 1699. He was part of a trial involving 3 soldiers who all were caught with magic scrolls in their pockets. The third was outed basically as being in love with a married woman, and decided that rather than face the consequences of that, he was going to try to hang himself. He wasn't executed for the witchcraft, he was executed for trying to hang himself.
Perhaps the most famous witch in Quebec history, which is La Corriveau. What can you tell us about La Corriveau?
I think the most important thing to know about La Corriveau is she was never accused of witchcraft ever in her entire life. The legend of La Corriveau being a witch seems to arise, I think, 100 years after her execution. And it seems to be tied up in this idea of woman commits crime, woman is executed for crime, woman must be witch. So it's tied up in this folkloric idea of women must be tied to witchcraft somehow if they committed a crime, as if that's the only crime that women can commit in history. So again, it has a lot more to do with New England than it does New France.